What you guys, got another video here for you. In this one we're going to be taking a look at, can I still use Windows 7 after 2020 when Microsoft ends support on the January 14th 2020. You will no longer receive security patches or service packs or any Windows updates for that operating system. So does that mean you can still use Windows 7 after 2020? And the short answer to that is yes, you can. But the next answer would be, why would you want to? And it would be super risky to do so. And then we're going to go through some of the reasons why it's risky, and also going to take a look at some of the comments on my last video, when I've got a lot of sort of mixed bag of comments, some hatred, some trolls, also some people with questions, and I thought we'd go through and answer some of those as well. So let's go ahead and do that in this video. Now, some of you guys were saying basically the title was a bit clickbait, and also I was scaremongering and propaganda and all this sort of stuff was coming up in the comments section. So I thought I'd make a video just to answer some of these questions for you. The first one here I want to take a look at is the telemetry here, which someone was concerned about. It says Windows 10 is so secure that the spyware is built in Microsoft telemetry. Well, telemetry is also in Windows 7, so I don't know where you're getting that answer from there. And also you've got to remember, which I've said here in the comment section, which was about so when you're posting on YouTube or Google or Facebook or Twitter, or your ISP is using or using your phone or any of that sort of stuff, all that stuff is being data collected from you. So that sort of thing that you're thinking there is really sort of not good. You need to sort of move away from that sort of way of thinking. So let's move on to someone else's comment here, which is down the bottom here, which was again on about collecting telemetry and stuff like that. Well, another thing I said here about you need to really get over the telemetry bit from Microsoft. Every company does it. So when you're doing it on YouTube, basically all what you're doing on YouTube, your comments, your activity on YouTube is collected. All that data is collected, and they sort of give you suggestive videos and stuff like that. So he's posting on YouTube and he's talking about telemetry, which doesn't make sense to me. And also you've got other things here like Google and the census records, which have been out since 1800s. They've been collecting data on you since that far back. You know, you've got your ISP that monitors everything you're doing online. Also TV companies, what you watch online, your phone company to you know, your call records and stuff like that, shopping online. You'll probably noticed stuff like that when you go shopping online, all that sort of stuff. So that is basically data collecting. It's been going on for a very long time, so people blowing it all up out of proportion about the telemetry thing. And if you really feel that badly about it, then either go off grid or you know, disconnect all those services and stuff. And there's plenty of stuff out there that does that. Another one here says he will keep using his Windows 7 and find a way to protect himself. The problem with that is it's not what you can do here with Windows 7. Installing an antivirus is not going to fix any sort of security breaches or patches that are not on your system anymore, that are not getting patched. So if there's a hole there or a bug or something becomes you know, open to the elements and someone finds that, they were going to breach that hole that's not been patched by Microsoft, because it won't be, because they're not going to give you any more updates. They're not going to give you any more service packs or any of that stuff. So basically that is it. So Windows 10 is going to be the last operating system that Microsoft Windows is going to be. So it's the end game basically. You either upgrade to Windows 10 at some point, or you stop using Windows altogether and go and use Linux, or you use Mac or Android or whatever it is you want to use, or don't use it at all and continue to use the older operating systems and put yourself at risk. It's just like, I don't know, it's like playing Russian roulette. So eventually something's going to go wrong, you know what I mean? And then everyone will start pointing the fingers at everyone else when it was your own choice. You've had 3 years to migrate your system over to a newer operating system, which is Windows 10. So why you would not want to do that? You've still got time. You've got until January 14th 2020 to safely migrate to a newer operating system which is more secure, and it's also going to be patched and updated on a regular basis. It's a no-brainer, really. Stop worrying about it, just suck it up and upgrade. It's as simple as that. And we've got another one here from Edwin, basically posting it all over the place on the comment section. I can see here says he's been using Windows 7 for 9 years and he's also used Windows XP. It's so safe. I've used XP in 11 years. Well, if you're still using XP in 2019, then and you haven't been infected, then I'll be surprised. It's so easy to infect Windows XP, and that's why the NHS system got hit by ransomware as well. So Windows XP basically has a 10 times the infection rate as Windows 7. As you can see here in this article, there's quite a massive amounts of infection rate for Windows XP. You're using Windows XP. This is just sort of an idea of what the statistics are, and there's also other statistics out there which you can do your research on. Doesn't need me to do it for you, but I'll post a couple of things up here so you can see them. Probably the biggest one for XP users was the WannaCry that hit the NHS hospital system. Basically that it crippled us. £92 million. Are you going to foot the bill when something like that happens? Of course you will, because it's going to happen and come out of your taxes. So if you're paying taxes and stuff like that, then don't come crying to me when you got to pay extra money because these things are happening to industries like banking and stuff like that. So it's a no-brainer, really, when you're getting hit with something like this. 200,000 computers, locked out. It calls 200,000 to lock out users with a red letter error message. So something like this is not good, and it come from North Korea, so it cost the government quite a lot of money to fix this issue. Probably would have been cheaper to upgrade to a more secure operating system at that time. So this is the thing, it's so easy to discard it thinking it's never going to happen to you, but eventually it does happen, and then everyone sort of complains, why didn't they upgrade, why didn't they do this? It's too late, And as you can see here, the NHS has already this year signed a new deal to upgrade local NHS computers to Windows 10. Now, is Windows 10 more secure than the older operating systems? Of course it is. If you take a look at this here, Windows 7, not XP, was the reason last week's WannaCry worm spread so wildly. This was in 2017. Windows 7 64 edition, 60.535%. Look at Windows 10, 0.03. And that's from Kaspersky Labs. 8 days ago, WannaCry ransomware attacked more than 200,000 computers in 150 countries. The outbreak prompted infected hospitals to turn away patients and shut down computers in banks and telecoms. Banks and telecoms, so basically that is your bank where your money is and things like that. And if they're running old operating systems, you're going to trust that, are you, with all your hard-earned cash, all your savings? If that was gone and they can't pay you back, what are you going to do? So these are the things you have to consider. Your little bit of data on your computer is your responsibility, but the infrastructure of our industry and the world, and also people's savings, everything is all on computers, so we've got to protect that. And using an old operating system because we love Windows 7 so much, or we love Windows XP so much, we don't want to give it up. That's just stupid. That really is stupid. It's not a good argument, to be honest. And we're talking about 0 day for Windows 7 and Windows XP was so bad. And you can see here Microsoft Windows 10 Edge, so secure they don't need the anti-0 day shield anymore because it's more secure. It doesn't need it. So if you want to put yourself at risk by using those older operating systems, then do so. But you put yourself at risk. When you go to log in your bank one day, you may be shocked to find out all your money's gone. It's been transferred out because you wasn't clever enough to upgrade to an operating system that's more secure, and it's never gonna. And don't think it's never gonna happen to you, because it can do. and it's possibly going to happen to someone that you know, or someone that's going to get hit by ransomware that you know. It's that bad. So in the future, it's not scaremongering, and it's not trying to worry people. It's a fact. It's happened. It's not going to happen. It's already happened, and it will continue to happen, and it will get worse as years go on. When things aren't patched and things aren't updated, they'll become more and more and more vulnerable. It's like having a car that you don't maintain. If you don't maintain that car, and you don't top it up with oil, and you don't do this and you don't do that and service it, you know, what's going to happen? It's going to break down and possibly blow up at some point. And it's the same thing with old computers. If you don't keep them up to date, they become vulnerable. So that's the way you need to look at things. This is not about I love Windows 7, I don't want to give it up. You've just got to, or keep it offline. Okay, we've got another one here from Arthur Baldwin. Basically says, how much was I paid for promoting Windows 10? Nothing, Arthur. It's your choice. You take it. You either use it or you don't. What are you going to do? Windows 10 is supposed to be the last operating system available. How long are you going to use Windows 7 for? How long are you going to use Windows XP for? You're going to continue to use those operating systems? No, of course you're not, because you're going to be vulnerable. That's like driving a car and never changing the tyres or changing the brakes and hoping that you don't have a blowout or the brakes don't fail. You're eventually going to have to do something. You've got to maintain stuff. You've got to move forward, and that's what you're doing. So that's my answer to that question right there. And yeah, it does have its problems. Windows 10 does have a few issues, but eventually they'll get ironed out, and they do frustrate me. But you know, at the end of the day, that's Windows. Windows has always been never been problem free. I don't think any operating system is going to be 100% problem free. Got another one here from David Robert Gibson. Thumbs down. No, stay with Windows 7. In IT for 31 years, and I've even multi-booted to Microsoft Windows 10, Windows 8 and Windows XP. No viruses running Avast, MBAM, which is Malwarebytes, and ComboFix. I don't think ComboFix works in Windows 10 or Windows 8. I think it's just Windows XP and Windows 7. But yeah, it's old ComboFix. But again, you know, if you've been in Windows IT for 31 years, well, you're using Windows 10 right there, and you're using Windows 8. And you're saying stay in Windows 7. But that, you've got to understand, David Robert Gibson, you've got to understand that because you've never been infected doesn't mean that the masses won't get infected. If you've been in IT for 31 years, you would know, if you've had the volume of computers to repair, you would know that Windows 7 and Windows XP have been plagued with malware, rogues, ransomware, Trojans, you know, botnets and God knows what else over the years. It's just a real difficult thing to teach people to remove malware, and Windows 10 hasn't probably been eradicated 100% of malware, but it's reduced it by massive amounts. And if you ask any PC repair tech that does high volumes of computers, and he's doing high volumes of Windows 10 computers, he'll probably tell you that he doesn't do much malware removal for those, mainly junkware removal, which is your programs that are bundled in like OpenCandy and stuff like that. That is what people tend to remove now, and they class that as malware, but it's not. It's just junkware, bloatware, and basically that's what most of the techs are removing nowadays. It's not the hardcore stuff that I used to see when I was making videos way back when about malware, because it was so widespread. And it's still out there. It's still on the internet. So if you're still using Windows 7 and Windows XP, you could fall foul to it. Now, you may not, because you may be clued up and tech savvy. But there's, sadly, as they say, one born every minute. There's tons of people that do fall for it every day. And that's probably why you see a bunch of it on the internet. As for this one here, Mark D. Smith, don't switch. Just don't connect to the internet or add any programs, and then we'll cover this bit in a second. But basically, what is the point in doing that? If you're never going to connect to the internet or use any programs, that means YouTube, Facebook, you won't be doing what you're doing now. You won't be commenting on YouTube because you're not going to be connected to the internet. So that's just really not a solution. That's just a workaround. Just to continue to use Windows 7, you're not going to connect to the internet or add any programs. That's not a viable option, you know. Looks like Edwin's trying to get his point across. He's still using Windows XP. And we've got another one here. Fake Windows 7 is secure if you use a good alternative firewall antivirus like Avast or Malwarebytes. And problem with this question here, which I answered already, which is basically that is not going to fix any holes in the operating system. It's as simple as that. So if you've got any holes in the operating system or software is so old where it's not been updated because they're not supplying updates for that software anymore for Windows 7, then it's going to be easy to infiltrate. So that's not what the solution is. Your antivirus and firewall may block malware, but it's not going to stop hackers or exploiters using holes and bugs in the actual Windows operating system itself. And we've got another one here. Evidence. Brytek either supply evidence that Windows 10 is more secure than Windows 7 or frankly give up. Well, let's see. I think I found a bit of information here. Now, as of evidence, Windows 10 is twice as secure as Windows 7, and this is on this website here. This is against PUPS, and as you can see, the evidence is right here. Now, it doesn't take any sort of malware specialist to find this information out. There's tons of information on the internet that shows you that Windows 10 is more secure against malware than Windows 7 or Windows XP. And these are from legitimate malware related sites, as in this one, Naked Security by Sophos. Windows XP is still Microsoft's biggest security headache, but infections are on the rise for Windows 7. And this is what you need to understand. These operating systems are so old that malware has become so smart it can infect them very easily. But with the modern day technology in Windows 10, it's made it a lot more secure. So when you go and look at the security statistics for both XP and Windows 7 against Windows 10, you're going to see a major difference over the course of time. And that's only going to get better for Windows 10 because it's still in its infancy. So as time goes on, it will become more secure. Take a look at the security features compared to Windows 7. You've got identity protection, you've got data protection, you've got threat resistance, and you've got also device security on there. All these are non-existent on Windows 7 compared to Windows 10. So check them out for yourself. And we've got one here from Scott Johnson. I think this is Kerry Osmond's friend here. Ridiculously misleading clickbait title and video. Well, Kerry would know about that. And also we got Brytek has now lost all his credibility. Oh my God. I've made one video and I've lost all my credibility, Scott. 1,700 videos and I make one video that you don't like and I've lost all my credibility. Yeah, okay. If you know anything about security, you'll know that Windows 7 will become a prime target for hackers, malware and ransomware developers, as it already has done in previous years. It's even going to be more as time goes on, and without patches or support from Microsoft, it will become even more vulnerable. So don't be silly. Got another one here. There are 2 million around the world still using Windows XP POS ready ATM machines or grocery registers, and he's also talking about it using it on a desktop with the registry hack, which is illegal for home users. And again, I would not put Windows XP on the internet, so I would not be following that advice at all, because that's why people are going to get infected. Even with updates up until the end of 2019 from Microsoft, it's still vulnerable, John, and you are going to get hit so badly with it. It's not good. So do not use XP at all. So Marky Mark says rubbish video. With careful use, Windows 7 is fine. Well, of course it must be fine if Marky Mark has said it's okay. And Windows 10 no problems, laugh out loud. I think that's his way of being having a bit of humour there. And he does use Windows 7 all the time and Linux Mint. That means he's not a full-fledged Linux user, and he has to keep one foot in Linux because Linux must be that bad that he can't do all that he needs it to do, so he uses Windows to fill in the gaps. So either way, you to say that it's a rubbish video because I'm saying how bad it is and you're trying to justify it by saying those statements there makes no sense to me. If you've worked in IT, you'd see that Windows 7 has been plagued with ransomware and stuff like that, and some companies have even lost their business due to being hit by ransomware, and they've been encrypted and lost all their data. So your statement there makes no sense whatsoever. Next up we have Divergent Droid. Windows 7 will be perfectly safe to use as long as you don't download anything questionable like a virus. Well, if we all knew what a virus was, we wouldn't download it, would we? And the problem is people don't know what they are, and they click on them and they get infected. Hence why so many people were getting infected on Windows XP and Windows 7. And I spent a good part of my day cleaning them from being infected. So just because Microsoft stopped support doesn't mean jack. Windows 7 will not kill itself after that date. Never said it would. Also, he says, I think the title is misleading, bordering on fraud. I don't know how I could be committing fraud by putting a title like that, but hey, Divergent Droid must know more than me. But at the end of the day, whether you want to use it or not, you know, it's not tricking people, it's just being factual. Even Microsoft said it themselves. Now, this was Microsoft's own article, which they took down, which they said Microsoft Windows 7 in 2017 is so outdated that patches can't keep it secure. Straight from the horse's mouth. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this one up. You basically can do what you want to do. If you want to continue to use Windows 7, that's totally your choice. If you want to continue to use Windows XP, you can use that as well. It doesn't bother me. I'm just giving you information. You either take it or leave it. You don't have to be hateful or disrespectful in the comments section below and say stupid stuff like some people do say. There's no need for that, and you don't hear me doing that, so I don't expect it from other people. So take it or leave it. It's entirely up to you. It's just a choice thing at the end of the day, whether you want to use it or not, whether you want to take any of this information in, or you want to continue to run the gauntlet and take that risk. It's entirely up to you. I'm not trying to twist your arm. You don't need to upgrade to Windows 10. Entirely up to you. I'm just telling you that what I see is Windows 7 going the same way as Windows XP, and people will get hit by it. Ransomware will encrypt your data and you will lose everything, and it's happened to a lot of people, and it's going to continue to happen to people in the foreseeable future until they upgrade to a more secure operating system. Anyway, that's about it for this video. My name is Brian from briteccomputers.co.uk. Thanks again for watching, guys. Bye for now. Now, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit the big red subscribe button on my YouTube channel and hit the bell notification button next to that to be notified when we upload new videos.